Are you passing through Desert Town and you think of finding a place to rest or just to have some nice food? Always keep this name in your mind. Comfort Lodge. Situated in Airfield at Desert Town. Here at Comfort Lodge, we offer comfortable, affordable, and quality accommodation. The place is located at a very quiet environment that gives you a comfortable and peaceful sleep. We also offer local food such as mademba, masambote ndera, chisoso, ndindo zina za lokolo zambiri. Talking of entertainment, that's not an issue as we have a DSTV for your favorite channels. Tight security, electricity and water backups are all in place just for you dear customers. During this time of COVID-19, we have all measures in place just for your safety. Oh yes, come and taste a different feel of life here at Comfort Lodge in the town. Comfort Lodge. Comfort Lodge, your number one place for affordable and quality accommodation.
Digital technology is taking over the world. Trends are changing every day. For the latest technology updates, reviews of tech gadgets, exclusive interviews with tech experts, and an interface with startup companies. Watch Inside Tech and catch every detail of the new trends in technology that will impact your life. Coming soon on Luntha television, bringing wisdom into your home.
The customer you're trying to reach is not available. Please call back.
The key to growth and development for every nation in the world is a better plan. Not just any plan, but a well-implemented one. And of course, development partners. Who are Malawi's development partners and what are they doing? To know more, tune into Malawi's Development Partners MDP with me, Kathy Matura, on Luntha TV.
Luntha Television, bringing wisdom into your home.
Greetings and welcome to today's news bulletin here on Luntha Television. My name is Bernard Manzam. First, the headlines. Pope Francis invites the Church to open its eyes to the suffering of the world. Speaker of Malawi Parliament breaks silence on partiality claims. CISANET calls for increased and timely disbursement of AIP's allocated funds. We now give you the news in detail. Pope Francis has called on people to recognize God's presence in the suffering of the poor and to act with hope and compassion in the face of injustice. The Pope has made the call in his homily during the Mass for the World Day of the Poor on Sunday at the Vatican. We have a Vatican News report. Reflecting on the apocalyptic imagery from the Gospel reading of the day, taken from Mark's Gospel, Pope Francis opened his homily by acknowledging the deep feelings of anguish that resonate today. The text read, "The sun will be darkened, the moon will not give its light, and the stars will be falling from heaven." To Pope Francis, this reflects the pains of our world, famine, war, inequality, and the indifference that follows. The Pope warned that in a world in which social media amplifies fears and insecurities, it is easy to succumb to despair. However, the Pope continued, "It is precisely in darkness that God draws near us. Just when everything seems to collapse, God comes. He gathers us together to save us." He explained that Jesus, through his death and resurrection, turned the darkest moment of human history into the dawn of salvation. Bringing his homily to a close, the Holy Father reminded the faithful
that change begins with small, daily actions, adding that whether in how we live, how we care for our environment, or how we share our resources, but each act of compassion can become a sign of hope.
Meanwhile, the Montfort Fathers community in the Diocese of Mangoji has celebrated the 8th World Day of the Poor with a message to take care of each other spiritually and physically. Father Eugenio Kuki, who is the curator at Cecilia Youth Center, to commemorate the day. Father Kuki said everyone is poor, either spiritually or physically. Andrew Nandul has filed a report read in our studios by Jean Galande Bernard.
In 2016, Pope Francis declared the liturgical 33rd Sunday of the Ordinary Time for commemorating and support the poor. Father Kuchi said much as he spiritually. In his remarks, Father Pier Giorgio Gamba said he is a living testimony that we need to take care for the poor, saying he has seen God taking care of his life.
Ndici tsanso ci mene a papa cita lero asonkanan di o sauki cica antauni a kuromu takanisa ci tauni ca koposa 1000 a kalapalanci sikuti kupereka lanci sikuli modi un pau iuta koma ti mati o soa asaganize kuti aiwalika asatai intima kuti amango ti tana tsikuli mozi pachaka die mawan kucha lincito yang Cristo aliense ti sangoti o tina cita chaka zulo basi kuma tsikundi tsiku ti pitirize kwa samalira kwa funafuna kwa tandizanzatu o soa kuposa.
In her remarks, one of the elderly who was among the invited to the luncheon, Mary Magdalena Malunga, said many poor people are going through tough times and that they need support not only from the church but from everyone. She thanked the Montfort community for the lunch and the hampers, saying they will have something to eat in the next days.
Mwambo umenewu ndaulandira mopitirira kwa basi mokondwa chifukwa sizichitika wamba koma papa atikonzera zabwino zakuthupi ndi kumzimu komwe anthu amene ndikuwaona ndiovutika kuposanso ine chifukwa ena kusowa chakudya choti adye kuyambira masana ngakhale mama waphala loma kulephera sakulipeza.
The hampers that contains maize flour, salt, soya pieces, and sopo were given to about 150 poor people, including the elderly and disabled, while the lunch was served to 300 people, and all to the tune of 1,048,500 kwacha.
Madame Chukura has called for enhanced efforts in providing information and dissemination on tuberculosis to end stigma. She stated that lack of awareness and proper information on tuberculosis is hindering the fight against TB. The First Lady commended Global Fund and other partners for their unwavering financial support in the fight against TB.
We apologize for that technical fault, but we retake that story. First Lady, Madame Monica Jagora, has called for improved information dissemination to combat stigma surrounding tuberculosis. Speaking at a high-level breakfast meeting at Camus Palace in Lilongwe today, Jagora emphasized the critical role of information in identifying undetected TB cases, which account for nearly half of all the cases. Falis Sizombe reports.
Madame Chukura has called for enhanced efforts in providing information and dissemination on tuberculosis to end stigma. She stated that lack of awareness and proper information on tuberculosis is hindering the fight against TB. The First Lady commended Global Fund and other partners for their unwavering financial support in the fight against TB. In her remarks, Board Chair Lady for Global Fund, Rosalyn Elizabeth Motor, said Global Fund will keep on supporting Malawi in screening, providing treatment, and diagnostic equipment.
That is a very smart thing because she spoke about finding people early. You see, if you don't find people early, if I cough now on all of you for a day, I will infect you, you know? So people need to have in mind when you have somebody near you unwell, it can be TB. So her approach is very good.
The country has made significant strides in reducing TB incidents by 61%, increasing treatment success rates to 90%, and decreasing TB HIV co-infection rates from 77% in 2003 to 47% in 2023. For Luntha News, Fales Chizombe.
Speaker of the National Assembly, Catherine Gwotani Hara, has spoken against partiality claims leveled against her, mainly by the leader of opposition parliament, Dr. George Chaponda, in the manner she handles business in parliament. According to Chaponda's allegations, the fact that the speaker is the ruling party's number 2 has not risen above party position in parliament, but has been taking sides. But responding to media query on the matter, Hara trashed the accusations, saying her predecessors were also holding big party positions, but still manning businesses in the House, and she cannot be an exception as a political figure. Robert Edward got her explanation on camera.
Parliament, August House, House of Representatives or National Assembly, functioning within oversight, representation and lawmaking, has its citizens asking more questions than answers on how it operates.
If you ask me, the issue, for me, sometimes I look at it as a gender issue. We have had so many speakers, and almost all of them with very senior positions. Honorable Chimutubanda was a Secretary General of DPP, and he was active in his own way as a Secretary General and a Speaker. Honorable Richard Msoya, and I'm just mentioning the recent ones. Honorable Richard Msoya was a Vice President for my Congress Party. He actually, later on, whilst he was a Speaker, changed to UTM, telling you that there's nowhere in the Constitution where it stops me from actively participating in politics. What the Constitution wants is I have to be impartial when I go in the House. But me being a political human being, the Constitution doesn't stop that. And that's why we've had all these speakers. I've just given you 2, but you can go back in time memorial. You find almost all of them have been Secretary Generals, Deputy Secretary Generals, Vice President. Now, why should it affect me now? Because it is me, a woman, Vice President, when we had a Vice President in the office in the name of Honorable Richard Msoya.
Meanwhile, Parliament has opened its doors to the general public to ask questions directly to the members and leadership to know more about the autonomous arm of government. Launching the Parliament Week at its building in Longwede today, Speaker of the National Assembly, Catherine Gwotani Hara, says the week will, among other things, see Parliament for the first time sitting outside the building at the stadium to portray more civic engagement. In his remarks, leader of opposition, Dr. George Chaponda, said democracy goes beyond casting a ballot every 5 years, but more citizens' participation. Robert Edward has more in this report.
Parliament, August House, House of Representatives or National Assembly, functioning within oversight, representation, and lawmaking has its citizens asking more questions than answers on how it operates, especially from the dissatisfaction point of view by the citizens themselves. This, according to Speaker of the National Assembly, Catherine Gotani Hara, is as a result of misconception on operations of Parliament, most of which are derived from lack of information about Parliament. She was speaking during the launch of Parliamentary Week from Monday to Friday at the Parliament building in Lilongwe, where she reviewed plans to make the event annually, saying Parliament believes that members cannot effectively represent the people if the citizens have inadequate information on its functions.
The week is dedicated to citizens. Come to Parliament, ask questions, things that they don't understand, clear misconceptions, and also have a Parliament outside the chamber itself, closer to the people themselves. So the idea is that we should engage more with the citizens that we represent by getting them to come to this Parliamentary Week.
In his remarks, leader of opposition, Dr. George Chabonda, described Parliament as a watchdog in democratic dispensation and ensuring that citizens' voices are heard.
We have to know that in Parliament, you have the government side and you have the opposition side. And for instance, myself, as the leader of the opposition, I expect to hear what the people want to hear in Parliament if they have issues. For instance, if they find that the freedom of expression is being suppressed, if they see that the rule of law is not being implemented, if they...
Representing leader of the House, Richard Banda, Tourism Minister Vera Kantugure said all members of Parliament are Malawians faced aside their political colors. The launch proceeded a big walk parade from Area 18 roundabout to the Parliament building. Democracy International is among the partners that supported the launch for the events that are going to take place for the entire week. For Luntha, this is Robert Edward.
We're still giving you the news bulletin here on Luntha Television, and we are live from Bishop Navy Media Center in the capital, Lilongwe. We'll be back shortly.
Luntha Television, together with Total Land Care, Assemblies of God Care, and other partners, led by NCA-DCA Joint Country Program with funding from NORAD, have organized a national conference on fighting gender-based violence, fighting inequalities, and climate-smart economic empowerment. The conference will take place on Wednesday, the 20th of November 2024 at Dimba Stadium, Kalulu EPA, in the area of Traditional Authority Dambe in Mchinji District, starting from 8:30 in the morning. The conference will be held under the theme, Together We Can Build a Resilient Nation, Free from Inequalities, Gender-Based Violence, and Human Trafficking. The guest of honor will be the Minister of Gender, Community Development, and Social Welfare, Honorable Jean Monowauza Sendeza, MP. Come and hear on how we can take part in ending gender-based violence, inequalities, and human trafficking.
Charity Jilanga has compiled a report being read by Tandiwe Mzumara.
Jagona says the current shortfall in both funds and supplies jeopardizes not only this season's agricultural productivity, farming business altogether,